Hello, welcome to episode 4 of the Trading Without Borders podcast. I remain Omobi, your host. So let me just say beautiful morning, afternoon, evening from whatever part of the continent you're listening. So for today's podcast, we'll just wrap up the highlights of the Intra-African trade fair that I started last week. So now that it's over, I'm trying to focus today's on for SMEs. So what do you need to do? What are the benefits? What are the opportunities that are now available for you? Now that the next one, the preparation is already in gear for the next one coming up in 2023 in Côte d'Ivoire. What do you need to start doing? What are the benefits? So what has happened really? Okay. For this year's IATF, as of the 21st of November 2021, of course, that's about $36 billion deals was concluded. So you can see, of course, that means that between even business to business, business to consumers, so that's basically people entering partnerships or getting more funding, or investors coming in, or governments getting, so financing, investment, and all what. So that's basically what it is. There was a lot of talk about there's various initiatives aimed at helping startups and SMEs to help them trade them with other African countries, because the big companies because they have the capacity and wherewithal to do that. But for SMEs, and of course maybe look at even for micro business owners, even women-owned businesses, there are a lot of initiatives aimed at helping them in getting them to trade with other African countries. So there are various initiatives you're looking at in the area of financing, in the area of market access, that's being able to access other markets apart from your domestic markets, and of course building capacity. So I'll just start with market access. So for the small business owners, even micro women, it's one thing that was really that everyone was emphasizing about it, using digital platforms to trade, to get your products, to advertise your product. There are a lot of initiatives. Like I said, the IATF virtual platform is still on. It's an all year round platform. You can get your products on it or get yourself advertised. Go on it and go and register. So interested parties, partners, sellers or buyers or collaborators can go in there and see your product. And I had also mentioned last week that the Mansa platform by the African Bank, that's the due diligence repository. Go on there, put your profile, put your plan, and all your details, the details that are necessary, that are required on the platform. Go on there and put it on it. So anyone whoever wants to trade or whoever wants to invest can go in there, and when they've done all the necessary due diligence, and any transaction that wants to be done can. So you have to start looking at various initiatives, various platforms to put your products out there, because that's really the first easy way for you, as people who might be financially constrained or might not have the capacity. So that's what you should start looking at. It was really emphasized digital platforms, make use of it, YouTube and all other ones. So okay, outside of the IATF, I remember attending an African trade conference, and yes, that was some weeks back, and I got an email that the expo booth, that's the expo booth will still be available up until January. So those are the sort of, you can get on there, go and put your product, get information about the advertising or getting a booth and put your products on there. So that's going to be open until January 2022. And I remember the Nigerian AFCFTA office, that the National Action, also coming up like some days ago on their page on Instagram, that they had signed an export expansion, like sort of a facility to help SMEs to put them on an e-commerce platform, and so to expose them. That's for visibility purposes. So in your country, there are various initiatives aimed at digital exposure for SMEs. Please get on it and try to find out. Yes, Okay, for the next one, we'll also move to, what are the financing initiatives? There are a lot of other initiatives, like, for example, I remember the African Bank had mentioned, because the CANEX, that's the Creative Africa Nexus, that they are really focusing on creative. That's the fashion, entertainment, filmmaking, art, music, and the cultural. There are really a lot of initiatives for them to get them, to help them in trading. The facility that was stated by the African, by the 500 million facility for that, and which 128 million has been accessed through loans and other financing initiatives by various SMEs. And they had stated that the 20 African fashion designers were taken to Portugal Fashion Show. That's part of accessing this facility. There are also some other financing initiatives, such as the Fund for Export Development in Africa. Some of this funding, the finance, will probably access from your domestic banks or from African Start-ups, but as more information is coming out, I will also be sharing that in this podcast. The African Bank has also said they signed an agreement, for example, with the Fidelity Bank in Nigeria. That's the $10 million facilities for trade and trade-related transactions. So they are looking at export and imports to finance trade transactions, export and in manufacturing, agriculture, power, and energy. So those are some of the initiatives as well. So yes, and if you're in East Africa, the DocuBox East African Film Fund, they were also there at the IATF, and they said they've entered, of course, to enter into global partnerships, to be able to get a fund to provide funding and grants for filmmakers and documentary makers. So if you're in East Africa and you don't know about that, or you should get into that and try and get more information on that. So some other countries have also said there are a lot of other initiatives. So there's so much initiatives aimed towards the startups and SMEs, just to be able to help you to compete globally. But of course, to be able to do this, you also need to be aware of all standards and procedures and laws in respect of getting your brother trading across borders and all other details. So the IATF portal is already open for registration for the 2023 IATF in Cote d'Ivoire, so you can get on it. So these are all the things you need to get yourself into, start getting prepared, so you can trade within Africa, trade across borders, and the rest of and of course, by doing this, you'll be able to, but the focus is Africa is doing business right now. Yes, if you want to trade outside of Africa, you can, but get all the opportunities, the benefits of trading within Africa, and look at this so you can also be able to compete globally. So this is where we end it for today's podcast, and thank you very much for listening. Just like I emphasized in previous episodes, the podcast is just for educational purposes only. If you need more information or you want more details, then you can reach out to me. And so this is where we end it. Until next Thursday, bye bye.